Hey y'all. Today I'm going to tell you an anecdote about when I was an active sex worker and how it led me on a journey to calculate Mario's inseam. Enjoy! A few years ago, one of my sources of income was working as a, air quotes, webcam model, and air quotes. For those of you not in the know, a webcam model is someone who live streams doing sinful things to and with their bodies in order to please our lust goddesses, that they may bestow upon us the power to destroy video games forever. It's working. Being a cam girl is equal parts performance art and small business venture, and the market for digital sex work is pretty oversaturated. God, what is it with me and this type of work? In order to drum up business, the best thing to do for yourself is to carve out a niche and get yourself a gimmick. This helps potential viewers remember you among the sea of sexy sex workers offering their sexy services. I'm fortunate enough to occupy several niches was the word I was looking for. But the niche that helped me gather a small but dedicated fan base was the fact that I am a huge nerd. My gimmick was gaming, you see, and the Venn diagram of gamers and people who like porn is basically a circle, so I did pretty well for myself, though I never did get a very big audience by camgirl standards. One of the cool things about fostering small communities is that you can weed out assholes pretty quickly, so the community that I kept tended to be very respectful of me and my time, and they treated me like a human being.
Sure, Jan.
I know, fucking wild, right? Well, one day I hit the go live button while I was in a fairly sour mood. I was having a shitty day, and my mood was really volatile. I was like one of them Wile E. Coyote traps, you know, the kind that, hinges on the use of nitroglycerin and explodes at the slightest touch. Fortunately, it was pretty mellow in chat that day. My viewers were happy to just chat with me while they yanked it elsewhere. It was an ideal situation for all parties involved. I didn't mind it. I just struck up some friendly conversation, and my mood gradually started to pick up. But then, a massive bob bag came into my chat room and decided to be a clown.
What's the name of the main character in The Legend of Zelda? How many Final Fantasy games are there? What does Toad say to Mario when you finish level 1-1 of Super Mario Bros.?
I'm ashamed to say it took answering this many questions, correctly, I might add, to realize this fool was trying to play gotcha with me because of my performance gimmick as a gamer. Basically, he didn't believe that I was really a gamer and that I was trying to cash in and, manipulate innocent gamers out of their vast, thick wallets. This motherfucker was trying to gatekeep me with some stupid-ass questions, and I, being salty, called them out on it and gave them the attention they were looking for. At this point, my chat, bless them, were valiantly defending me, and when the troll decided to leave, having gorged themselves on my salty salt, made one last remark.
I bet you don't even know what Mario's Inseam is.
And then they left. Now, you're gonna have to forgive me some naivete. At the time, I didn't realize this comment was a thing. I guess you'd call it a meme? I can't keep up with you kids anymore, so I'm not even going to pretend to know. But at that point, I was fuming. I was not the hair trigger roadrunner trap. I was Wile E. Coyote, hoisted by my own goddamn petard. Now, I tend to be a really patient person. Anger doesn't come easily to me, and it's often overridden by other feelings pretty quickly. On this particular occasion, my anger was overridden by curiosity. See, one of my favorite things in the whole wide world is the act of coming up with the answers to strange hypothetical questions using real-world problem solving. I usually watch this kind of problem solving from afar because it usually involves logistics that I'm not terribly familiar with, but this particular question, what is Mario's inseam, is firmly within my realm of expertise because I moonlight as a seamster and costume designer. I was still live streaming when the question arose, but I decided to do a quick search to find the answer and sate my curiosity. I wasn't satisfied with the results I found, and no one seemed to have taken a for realsies crack at the problem at that time. Although, this is my favorite answer that I've found thus far. The length of Mario's inseam is, and I did a lot of Googling to find out, exactly 1.5 fuck off who gives a shit. Honestly, this is probably the most accurate answer that's ever going to be available for this question, but there's no harm in taking a crack at it, so... At that point, I was just like, fuck it, we're doing this thing, and I decided to calculate Mario's inseam right there, live, on camera, to an audience that was used to paying me to take my clothes off for them. Just keep that scenario in the back of your brain for now. It's going to come into play at the end of this story. So, now we're going to try and figure this thing out, because all of this happened around late 2016, and a lot of new information has cropped up since then. For folks who aren't familiar with the term, an inseam is the seam of a pair of shorts or pants that runs along the inside of your leg and goes from the bottom of the garment up to the crotch. So this is a widely variable measurement, but since Mario always seems to wear these baller-ass overalls, this should be pretty easy to figure out and should be really consistent. This is an oversimplified way to think about it because you kind of need to calculate proportions as well, especially when you're looking to make a pair of pants that is as, form-fitting as what Mario wears. But since we already have images of our subject, we don't really need to worry about that, because the calculations have basically been done for us. The first thing you need to calculate an inseam is the height of the person who will be wearing the pants. Back in 2016, when I was looking this up in front of a live audience on a free sexcam website, I didn't really get too in-depth with my research here, and I just kind of settled on the first plausible height that I found. I'm actually kind of glad that I glossed over that, honestly, because Mario's height is actually a really hotly contested topic among the Nintendo fan base, and there are suppositions of our guy's height left, right, and center. I haven't been able to confirm a source yet, but there are whispers of Mario's canonical height being 5 feet 1 inch tall, or 61 inches. I'm going to go ahead and assume that we're talking about a 3-dimensional Mario, because I haven't resided in the second dimension since the last time I ate shrooms, and thus cannot make a pair of pants with only 2 dimensions to them. Speaking of shrooms, I found a really interesting question during my research. Are we talking about regular Mario's height, or are we talking about Mario after he's eaten a mushroom or used a fire flower? I really like this question, and it's a lot of fun to think about. But you know what? I'm sticking with Mr. Shorty McShortpants Mario, because no working class denim worth a damn has that much stretch to it, and suspending disbelief like that is just asking too much of me. I won't do it. You'd think that would be the end of it, but oh no. We're in the land of deepest lore, my friends, and we've got a lot more to consider here, so buckle up. Now, we need to go into this whole thing with an understanding of Shigeru Miyamoto's sense of humor. Mario's creator can be quite the joker sometimes. This is the man who gave the okay for Mario's last name to be Mario, a fact that was made canon in the timeless Criterion classic that is the 1993 Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Name? Mario. Last name? Mario. Okay, what's your name? Luigi. Luigi?
No, Luigi Mario.
Okay, look, how many Marios are there between the two of you?
There's 3. It's Mario, and Luigi Mario.
Because of this fella's sense of humor, I'm going to take this 61-inch measurement with a huge grain of salt. Ultimately, Mario's relative size to the world he's in is a design decision made to be visually appealing, most of all. In the surreal world of the Mushroom Kingdom, height is a completely arbitrary number. However, the subject of Mario's height has been covered in an academic capacity by a number of people on the YouTubes. One of the most compelling arguments that I could find for Mario's height comes from a video by the YouTube team Treesicle. Treesicle. See, I read that as testicle in my head. I'm going to go ahead and leave this in with my deepest apologies to the Treesicle team.
So there's this city in the upcoming Mario game that's supposedly based off of real-life metropolises like New York. Nintendo recently released a trailer for the upcoming Super Mario Odyssey featuring this fabled new dog city, and may I say the camera angles are most splendid. At least one of them is. Look right? Nyah. Mario is clearly just a hair taller than this here hydrant. And according to this super official diagram found on the leading American brand of fire hydrant's website, the distance between the top of a hydrant and the ground is this distance minus this distance, which is 28.63 inches, minus 3.5 inches, which equals 25.13 inches. That's right, Mario is undeniably just an inch over 2 feet tall.
Oh, snap. Feel free to check my math on this, but that's a fucking 3-foot difference right there. Unless there's a disturbing change in the proportions of Mario's legs and torso, we've got 2 different measurements on our hands here. So here, I'm going to do y'all a solid and calculate the inseam length for both the cannon height and the tricycle height. So if you ever start a business making pants for the Marios of the world, you'll be able to accommodate all 2 of them. So there you go. Mario's official inseam is 12 inches, and his kind of IRL New Donk City inseam is 5.5 inches. He's so tiny. I think my cats probably have the same inseam. Should I make pants for my cats? Anyway, I have equipped you with the answers to a weird, smartass remark that was made by a troll in my camgirl chat room that one time 3 years ago. You're welcome, Internet. Now, remember when I said earlier that I had a small but supportive viewership watching me do this live on camera? This was apparently very entertaining for them because my audience, bless them, started throwing dollars my way. I was fully clothed, I wasn't saying or doing anything explicit. I was just scratching a curiosity itch, and I didn't feel like turning off my stream while I was doing that. When everything was said and done, I had made close to $300 in tips. It was bizarre and weird and, I don't know, oddly comforting, I guess. It's just really nice to have people support your idiosyncrasies, you know? And there you have it. The story of how I came to calculate Mario's inseam while I was live on a sex cam website. Ta-da! I guess I wanted to tell this story because it was sort of a gateway drug into what I'm doing right now, which is making video essays about games. Okay, so I'm gonna end this video with a joke. What do you call a submissive werewolf author who has a YouTube channel? A like and subscribe. Which is what you should do if you like this video. Ha ha! Did you like that? You liked it. Y'all, thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, even just a little bit, please share it because I work really hard on these and I like it when people look at my stuff. You know how it is. Super extra special thanks to Biggest Bennis, Dagonmar, Lunk Sauce, and Mr. Flighty for looking over my work and telling me what was dumb and what was good. I really appreciate all of your time. And look at all of these beautiful patrons. If you'd like to see your name up on this screen, head over to Patreon and give me $1 or tip me 100 bits over on Twitch. Or, just hang out with me. Bye!